we ask that you be with us through this COVID virus that is affecting everyone. And we ask that you guide us, lead us in the direction you would have us go as we govern this county. We ask all of this in my heavenly precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you both. Those that are watching this morning, Commissioner Crabtree had a long-awaited doctor's appointment this morning in Chillicothe at the VA. And those that know how those work, when it's a specialist, you make those appointments, and at times it takes a while to get in. This was the only day that they could get him in, and he is in Chillicothe right now at that doctor's appointment. All is well, but he didn't want to miss that appointment when it takes so long to get those set up. So anyways, could we get an approval for a motion to approve the minutes of November 10th?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will vacate the chair to second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to accepting miscellaneous reports? Hearing none,
Motion to accept.
I will second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation transfer of funds,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to the appropriation transfer of funds request? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 4? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfers,
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 5? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of proposal to purchase a vehicle regarding the Commissioner's office,
On item 6, we have not had a new vehicle in almost 20 years. The Windstar has seen its better days. The Windstar has been retired to the airport now, and it's being used as a courtesy shuttle for transient pilots that fly in late, and we need to be able to get them to a local hotel. It's still operating. We did some work on it there at the end to make sure that it was functional and it was still operating, but it has definitely seen its better days. And I believe it's time to get that. Did you have a chance to review the two different proposals on that? I personally feel like we need to go with the 2021 model. Better features, safety features, as well as all-wheel drive. And I just think that it was the better deal over the 2020. Same model, Equinox, but when we go down the road, hopefully we don't wait nearly 20 years to get another vehicle. But we wanted just to be let everybody know we literally have not had a vehicle for several months now. We had already retired the other van out actually at the beginning of coronavirus when all that happened. We wanted to get that out to the airport, but we've just been really watching the finances, and I know that this may seem like a small thing as far as the purchase of that is $26,800 for an Equinox, but it's still, it adds up. You have to watch these things really close, and we need to be aware of our spending, but I didn't know if you had any questions or not in regards to that.
No, I saw those. I've already looked at this last week.
Okay, all right. So with that, can we get a motion on item 6?
Certainly. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of 2020-2021 Victims of Crime Act and State Victim Assistance Act grant award and acceptance regarding juvenile court.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 7? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution to employ legal counsel in accordance to ORC 305.14.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 8? Hearing none,
Motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution regarding the expenditure of coronavirus relief funds for the Scioto County CARES COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 9? Hearing none,
I'll make a motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of memorandum from the Scioto County Sheriff regarding a request for labor negotiations extension on 2021-2023 collective bargaining agreement.
On item 10, this is a standard, well, typically, there is an extension on the contract. It takes a little bit longer to get this. I'm sure you probably read the letter that came over from our sheriff. I actually really like this because it gives more time, especially it allows the new sheriff to be part of these negotiations. So I think the fact that the new sheriff will be living under the letter of this contract, I think this is a good move and really support this myself. So with that, is there a motion on item 10?
I'll make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of memorandum from the Scioto County Department of Job and Family Services regarding inter-county adjustment of allocations.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to the letter that came over from Job and Family Services on the reallocations? Hearing none,
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution regarding the expenditure of coronavirus relief funds for the creation of the Scioto County COVID-19 Health Department Subgrant Program.
On item 12, there's been a lot, just for those that are watching, there has been a lot of activity on this. It's really been fluid, but really today as far as we know, this will be our last day to resolve on how we're going to spend those CARES Act funds. With some of the communication that happened over the weekend, just so the public knows, there are a lot of things happening on the health front right now, as many would speculate, I'm sure, with the number of cases, the increases, and everything else. Over the weekend, Dr. Martin and I had several conversations in regards to a COVID command center, bumping up our response, utilizing EMA to house some health department employees temporarily, setting up a command center, moving the health department to larger digs because of what's going on and the possibility of what's going to be happening over the next several months. So this covers all of that, the expenses, using CARES Act funds properly, getting the command center set up, and they have their own allocation for funding, but there's a lot that has to be done to support it. And we went over last Friday and did a tour of the annex basement, and it looks like the health department will be moving there. But, and we would like to get that done by the end of the year. But for now, this covers the expenses to get that area ready. Just for example, increased examination rooms, things like that. It's going to allow for being able to administer vaccines or anything like that, not just COVID, but also for other diseases down the pike, and prepare us in a much more clinical setting. So with that said, there's a lot in here. It's reallocation of funding within CARES. There's some infrastructure that needs to be built out. We have a generator that needs to be placed that will secure and make sure that our vaccines stay at the right temperatures. All of this has to be done, and it needs to be done in very short order. So we'll be working with of course, contractors as well as our in-house staff to get this done quickly in support of our health department and their efforts. Right now, they are overwhelmed. They are swamped with cases. They are doing everything they can. Right now, they're running about 2 days behind on contact tracing, which is really miraculous, to be honest with you, that it's not further. But they're doing everything they can. They are bringing in additional staff to help with that, and that's where EMA comes in. They're going to be working over there because the phone lines, internet lines are already in place. They're going to be able to do that, and that is why we as a county maintain our EMA the way we do, to prepare for situations like this. I pray everybody don't take this as a, this is chaos and everything else. It's not. It's actually very orderly, and we've had these discussions, and we are moving appropriately and going to make sure that we are on task to make sure we take care of our health department and their employees, as well as all of Scioto County. So with that said, can I get a motion on item 12 to move forward with that?
Yes, sir. I will make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I will second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and the then and now certificates in the total amount of $493,195.47.
Any questions or comments in regards to item 13? Hearing none,
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
In the matter of legal services agreement with United States Department of Agriculture regarding West Portsmouth wastewater treatment plant and Purty Acres wastewater treatment plant.
Are there any questions or comments in regards to item 14?
No, sir. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye. Okay. Mrs. Coleman, would you have anything in addition?
No, sir. I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Davis, behind the video,
The other Mr. Davis?
the other Mr. Davis? No relation that we know of yet. We haven't figured that out yet.
Maybe. There's a lot of us out there.
There's a lot of Davises. Sixth most popular surname now in the United States. Did you know this? We're on the rise, yes. Okay.
Okay. On agenda
Yes.
from Mark Craycraft. What is the primary function and use of a vehicle designated to the commissioners?
We, not only the commissioners use it, others use it. Anyone working for our department can use it for travel to and from training, to meetings. We can use it to go to Lawrence County. We can use it to go to Columbus, not just us, but other employees that work for the commissioner's office as well that don't have access to a vehicle. They can use that for county business.
And Mr. Craycraft is from the
Scioto County Daily News, yes.
From Patrick Keck.
Portsmouth Daily Times, okay.
Is the extension of the small business relief program related to the possibility of restaurant and bar closures?
I would say, let me explain what we did this morning, okay? And then I'll address what he just asked. What we did this morning is we revised our resolution on the small business loan to where it is now up to $25,000. What we were dealing with before was we had a $10,000 loan and we had a $25,000 loan. And then what we're also finding out is that we only allocated 10 $25,000 loans, which limited us because we were finding that the need was greater from many of these businesses, and that when we got to 10, we had to stop. And everybody after that would have been eligible for just $10,000 when they really needed $25,000. So I told the committee, which is David Green, Auditor Green, and Scioto County Economic Development Director Rob Horton, and then myself, I told them that I would come back to the commissioners and see if there was a way to revise this particular resolution to change it to where it just said up to $25,000. We were also running into where We had some that really didn't qualify for 10,000, but they did qualify for something. Well, the way the resolution read, we created $10,000 grants and 25. So this fixes all of that and makes it much more flexible for that committee to really get the funds out to who they need to go to. And I will say this, yes, what Mr. Keck said is true. We have that in the back of our mind. It is a major concern for us. I am a little bit encouraged by what the governor has been saying. Apparently he's supposed to say something today too about how he really doesn't want to shut down businesses because of and he mentioned it specifically, what we have said in this meeting multiple times, the mental health aspect, the loss of lives that are it's happening right now in our community due to suicides and overdoses and things like that, because of loss of revenue, loss of jobs, loss of, I mean, you name it, it's loss, and people are feeling that. And there's got to be a balance here, and I'm glad that the governor's saying that there has to be a balance. We'll see what he does, but this is always in the back of our mind. I'm really glad he asked that, because, and I want everybody to understand, we have many businesses, many, in sitting and listening and talking with our economic development director and his assistant, and them having direct access, and us talking to several business owners ourselves. We have many businesses that are barely hanging on. They have had their business impacted greatly, and they are hurting badly. And I just want to say, this is part of our effort to help with that. And, you know, these monies were approved from the federal level. We need to thank our representatives and our senators for what they did at the federal level, and then at the state level, allocating those funds and getting them out. But these are tax-paying business owners that have worked their guts out to stay open, and they have paid taxes, and they have done their jobs, and they have done everything they can to stay open. And this is our way of trying to get that money back in their hands so that they can maintain their businesses and stay vibrant and stay open, so that when this pandemic ends, we don't have 100 empty storefronts in our community, that we have vibrant businesses that are still operating. People don't understand what they've done to stay alive up to this point. Some of them have taken on large loans, some that will not be forgiven. They will have to pay those loans back. So that is long-term debt that they have encumbered on their businesses. If they don't stay open, that debt will not be repaid. And you know what happens then? Then you have default, and our banking system starts to collapse. We can't allow that. There's a huge picture just beyond what Scioto County is. There's a huge picture here that everybody needs to see. And this is our small effort to try to help our local businesses stay alive until we can get past this. Their traffic is down in their stores, and we're doing everything we can to try to keep them alive. So thank you for that question.
Looks like we've got off agenda now.
Oh, okay.
From Mark Craycraft. Congratulations on the purchase of the Chromebooks. He has 2 questions.
Okay.
1, what is the established criteria for distribution?
ESC handled that. That would be a really good question. I will tell you what happened right at the offset, and we were just talking about this yesterday. We were asked this very question by a gentleman that works for ESC who's doing the press release. Exactly how, what happened here. And when we learned of the potential to use CARES Act money for Chromebooks, I will tell you where that came from. That was Sam Sutherland, our city manager. He and I were talking. We were bouncing ideas off each other. And he said, "Hey, have you thought about this?" And I thought, man, we hadn't even considered that. So we can give Sam Sutherland part of the credit for this, because it was his actions and his statement. So then the question that was begged next was, man, how do we pull this off? I know Portsmouth Health the schools here in Portsmouth, but we have, a dozen school districts in Scioto County. So who else better to do that would be the entity that coordinates with all of those school districts, and that is Sandy Mers, Superintendent Sandy Mers at ESC. And I reached out to her. I said, we got this money. We would like to help the schools. What does that look like? What do you think we can do? Well, she was just all over it. And her and her staff went to work. They actually polled the schools and asked the schools individually, what do you need? What do you need? And the numbers, believe it or not, were very similar, because a lot of the schools had already done quite a bit of work on this. In preparation for the virtual learning, they had done a lot of purchases themselves. I know that CARES Act funding through the townships, quite a bit of that has been going to the schools to help them continue to buy Chromebooks and other technology. So they came back and they gave us a number. It was north of 1,000, but we were going to be able to do all of them if we could have bought the less expensive one. But that was 3 to 4 months back order. And we have to have all of this expended by December 30th. This is what we were talking about the other day, why it was so imperative that we had to go with a little bit more expensive Chromebook in order to get it in time. The benefits were twofold there. One, we get it done in time. They came in. Matter of fact, we were there yesterday for the pictures with the Chromebooks. So we got them in time. We weren't going to get them in time if we ordered the others, because everybody in the United States is trying to do this. But by going the route we did, and really it was even miraculous to pull this off that route. Sandy was telling us yesterday that this doesn't happen everywhere. It's because we move so fast that we were able to get this for our children. The other benefit is exactly that. They now have them. I will tell you that the school district my children go to, we received a letter yesterday that we're going to all virtual on December 8th. So I think this is going to become more of a trend as cases continue to rise. Not so much, although we are seeing a few within our schools with the children, we're seeing it much more so with the staff, the adults. And of course, as that continues, then you continue to lose staff. At some point, you're going to have to go virtual. So we kind of assumed this might happen, and we've talked about it, my goodness, multiple times. I've talked to Dr. Martin about it multiple times. It's been a real concern, and by doing it the way we did it, it actually looks like it's going to be a major benefit and work out to where we're going to have these books available now to the children. If you would like to know a little bit more about that, contact Sandy Mers at ESC. She can give you exact details on how she handled that. But we didn't try to dictate that, because we're not the professionals at the school level. We wanted superintendents, principals, and all of them to chime in and to work with ESC to coordinate this, because we do commissioner stuff. We don't do school stuff. So
Right.
They know what they need. We let them do that. And I will tell you that they're starting those pickups. They scheduled pickups at different times at ESC for all the schools to keep the social distancing down and keep the number of people out of their facility, to keep it low, to keep those numbers down. And they're doing that as we speak, a matter of fact. They've started those pickups. It was an incredible thing. 7 skids of Chromebooks was a pretty amazing picture. I've never seen that before, but yeah, they were doing that, and it was incredible. And I will say this too, while we're talking about ESC, if anybody needs library books, she has 7 what are called Gaylords. They're large cardboard case. I mean, they're huge. They're skid size, full of barely used library books.
Yes.
If any schools need those library books, or
Churches.
community centers, daycares that would like to have books, they have them, and they have a ton of them. I think she said 40,000 books
I
or
believe
something
that's
like
what
that.
she said.
That she has, and they're barely worn. I mean, they're some of them are brand new, and those are available. So if you would like, you have an interest in that, contact Sandy Mers at ESC there in New Boston, and we saw them yesterday. There's a ton of books, and that's if you need to refresh your library, there it is. Okay.
Question 2, and there is some context to this, so.
Okay.
What measures are in place to protect the privacy of those receiving the Chromebooks? It is customary for computers issued by schools to have remote access capabilities to repair and fix small tech issues. It is also a significant problem across the country where the cameras and microphone are also being accessed. What will be the guidelines for curbing abuse of this technology?
That is something that they'd have to ask the individual schools. We're providing the hardware. They provide all of that. They'll be doing that. I'm sure their own tech people will be doing that, and that would be on an individual basis by school district.
Also from Mark Craycraft, please update the public on the progress moving towards the eventual opening of a children's crisis intake center.
I'm glad he asked. We are still discussing locations. I talked to Jason again last week about this, and there are a couple of locations we're interested in. The one that I'd really love to have is not available right now, but could be in the future. I talked to Judge Lemons last week in regards to this again. We are working on the legal part of this. I know we've talked about that before, but this is not easy at all. We really need the governor to carve out an exception for what we're trying to do. Right now, they're talking 18 months to license. They're really, it's just bureaucracy. It really is, and we can't tolerate that right now. We can't do that right now. We need help. So we followed back with the individuals that we've been talking to about properties. We really need to finalize that and move forward, but we really need our juvenile court also to tell us exactly how we're going to move children to this facility and not run into legal problems with the state. We think we can do that short term. We know we can acquire the property. That's not even in question. And we know that we can use it, and for the purpose that we're talking about. The question is simply, how do we do it legally? And be able to do it in short term, not long term. So we're working on that. It's not moving as fast as we want, that's for sure. I do appreciate the fact that Jason and we're staying in contact all the time. And I do appreciate the fact that Children's Services has really changed their criteria for home placement, and they're doing a lot more. And we all know it was needed. I mean, we know. And they're doing a lot more background. Matter of fact, I can tell you, just 2 weeks ago, there was a weekend, one of those rush events, one of those times where we had some children that needed placement right away. It was a weekend, it was bad timing. And because they went over and above and beyond, they uncovered something that could have been very bad. And they were able to prevent it. And because they're taking the time and they're really crossing their T's, dotting their I's, the training of the staff, the hiring of new staff is paying off. And while not perfect, we know that it's not always perfect, but they're doing much better. And there's a real commitment there from those that are in charge. Anything else?
From Dennis April Centers.
Who? I'm sorry.
Dennis April Centers. I think it's a joint account.
Maybe a husband and wife, maybe? Okay.
What happens to people that exhausted their unemployment? Is there going to be an injection, or is that a dying idea?
We can't answer that at the local level. I know that we continue to see reports out of Washington. We know prior to the election there wasn't anything being done. There was efforts, but everything died on the vine, it seemed like. And I haven't heard anything recently in the news. You would hope that there would be an extension of the federal unemployment. That way the states could continue on as well to do what they're doing. As far as anything over and above and beyond the unemployment for anyone that's not working or whatever, such as what they did with the $1,200 checks and things like that months ago, I've heard nothing. I have heard nothing. So that is all federal. You know, if you would like, you can contact your federal representatives here in Scioto County. We have two, and Brad Winstrip and Bill Johnson, as well as Senators Portman and Brown would be the offices to call on that. But no, we have not heard anything new, and I know that there's some concern out there. People are worried, especially with everything that's going on right now, and it seems like with cases increasing, and with the possibility of shutdowns in the future, which we pray are not going to materialize, that people are starting to ask those questions, what will I do, you know? I think if there's more conversation about shutdowns, meaning there's actual solid information that's coming, I think you're going to see more action on it. But I will stress, and it's a really good question, I will stress to the public to please don't allow yourself to feed too much into rumors. One of the things that's out right now, and everybody said, we're going purple, we're going purple, we're going purple. There is nothing to support that claim. Increased numbers alone do not dictate a county going to purple. That's not how that works. Right now, we are a red county because we are seeing widespread numbers, but we have only hit 3 of 7 indicators. That's where we are right now. Now, Thursday, we have had an increase in hospitalizations locally. We have an increase in cases locally. You have to reach 6 of 7 indicators for 2 weeks straight in order to go purple. That has not happened. And trust me, there are counties right now, I heard yesterday that there's counties with over 800 cases, 800 new cases a day. Okay, I mean, it's prevalent, it's out there, community spread wide. That's exactly what's happening in Scioto County is community spread. A lot of it is from mass gatherings. That is being proven. We're hearing that from our health department. And you know, we are starting to see our deaths are ticking up, and every life is precious, and it breaks our heart, and our hearts go out to those families. But we are still red, and please don't allow fear to grip your heart, because I'm hearing this and I'm seeing this, and people are just so scared, and we're not there. We're not there. And you know, we continue to encourage people to stay safe, protect yourselves, protect your family, protect those around yourself, and wash your hands. You know, you go into a public setting with a lot of people, wear a mask, and socially distance. You know, I think we're getting pretty good at that. But this will end. I keep on saying that. A pandemic always ends, and we just gotta. This is a hard time right now for a lot of people. Don't let fear grip your heart. Live your life. Live your life to the best of your ability. Smile and know that there is a better day. There's a better day coming. We'll get past this.
I want to add that I spoke to Larry Mullins, the EMS director, yesterday, and I think this last purple scare that people are talking about has something to do with a post. And
I saw that. Yeah.
Yes, and the post was actually what to do in case we are in a code purple. But the way it read, and it kind of insinuated that we were there, and people were really getting nervous and frightened about it, and making phone calls. I'm sure you received some. I received some. So
Yep.
I always go to Larry, who He always has the numbers.
The lowdown.
The numbers man.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, he does.
and so that was the last scare I think that people have had, was the way that they interpreted that post. And so that's been clarified, and we are not in a code purple yet.
We're not.
No,
We're
nor
at
are-
3 of 7, and we've been at 3 of 7 for weeks.
Yes.
But like I said, don't be afraid. Don't allow that fear to grip your heart, because false expectations appearing real. I always go back to that, and we always worry about what about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? You don't have to worry about tomorrow. You do your part. We'll do our part, and together we'll get through this. I always say Scioto County is very resilient, and we've been through disasters before, and we'll get through this one too. Anything else? That it? Okay. All right. We appreciate everybody coming, and we are glad to be able to continue the progress of the county even through very difficult situations. It has been tough here recently with all the different things we're trying to allocate and get everything done, and I want to publicly state and thank our staff for the headache that we have created. We are trying to do this on a split. Our staff right now is on a split rotation to keep staff in and out of the building to try to protect and keep things going. And they have done a wonderful job. Our clerks have done a wonderful job. And we are throwing all this information at them quickly, and it's coming from us. It's coming from, and the other group I want to thank is our prosecutor's office.
Yes.
Our prosecutor's office has done a tremendous amount of legal work. I mean, the amount of work that has been thrown at them in a very short period of time for this CARES Act has been large. It's very, very large, and I want to thank Maggie Miller and also Danielle Parker for their hard work on this. They are literally just handling, and what's amazing is they're not just handling ours. The counties, they're handling townships, they're handling schools, they're handling all of those, and they've done it well, and they're getting it done. And I'm sure that they're going to be, well, matter of fact, Maggie told me yesterday she'll be really happy when the 20th is over, because that's the deadline, when it's all supposed to be done. That's why we're getting this all done now. This is our last meeting before Friday, and we had to get it done. So thank them. Shane Tieman's got a good team over there, prosecutor Tiemann, sorry, and has a good team over there, and they really made it happen. And then all of the others, Sandy Mers at ESC, the work her staff did, and herself to get that all coordinated was wonderful. We'll be delivering Chromebooks to the 14th Street Community Center today as well for the Catcher's Mitt program. Very excited about that, and the way they're doing the distance learning for the kids over there in support of all the parents. Just wonderful stuff going on in our community. And then the support of the health department and all the information they've passed along here lately, and as well as just all the departments pitching in here in the county. I mean, it's just been amazing, the cooperation and how everybody's just getting the job done. Economic development, my goodness, the hours. They took a day off. I apologize to everybody, but they took a day off yesterday. They have been hard at this for several weeks now since we announced the grant program, and they needed a day off. They just, they've been working weekends and everything else just trying to get this all done, and they took yesterday off. And they're back in the office today, so if you haven't got that done, go get it done. So your grant, if you need information on the grant, stop by the Economic Development Office at 502 Court Street over here, the old former Oddfellows building. They'll take care of you and get you the application and talk to you about your needs.
If you're not a business man and you don't need this, but you know of someone, I've just sit here during our meeting and I've written down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses that I'm going to contact about these. So if you know of anyone that has a small business that could benefit from this, and I'm sure they've all been affected by the COVID, so please give them a call, let them know about this.
Yeah, we still got several $1,000s to give, so Okay, yeah, as an update, we are meeting on Tuesdays right now. We had limited our meetings to one per week. That was due to COVID and just trying to reduce the amount of time in meetings, and so that's what we're doing right now. We were doing it on Thursdays because of the interruption of Thursdays with Veterans Day. Of course, the day after, we wouldn't have had a docket, and then with Thanksgiving being on Thursday, we would have lost 2 out of 4 of our meetings this week, or this month. So we moved it to Tuesdays. Auditor's office was great to work with on that, and so we are not meeting. Now, I will say this, if something comes up between now and Friday, CARES Act related, that it is an emergency, and we will schedule that 24 hours in advance, and we'll, of course, Brian will let you know on that, and we'll do that. But right now, I think we got it all covered. I think we have encumbered all of the CARES Act monies, and I think we're there. So it's been a big effort, and we appreciate everyone's work on that. I hope that answers that question. Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe, blessed day, and we will see you next Tuesday.
We're recessing.
Also, we're recessing. Okay.
Because we have the
yes, we have public viewing at Rush Township Early 3rd Edition, so we will be going out to Rush Township for that at 11 a.m. So can we get a motion to recess?
I will make a motion to recess.
I will second.
Ms. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.